So first I'll take you through just the basic lumen printing process. You're using silver gelatin paper, which is just black and white darkroom photography paper. Here's my stash. Normally this paper is used in a darkroom under a safe light, with a negative being projected onto the paper, exposed for just a few seconds, and then developed using darkroom chemistry to make a black and white photograph. So with lumen printing, you're using sunlight instead and exposing it for anywhere from a few minutes to a whole day, a week, months, and the result is that there are a lot of different colors that come out from the different types of paper. So some people here are manipulating their color digitally. Not everyone fixes their lumen prints. So there's a lot of range there in the amount of color that you're able to get. And in my case, I'm folding the paper and exposing it to the sunlight, and this is a sampling of some of the different colors I'm getting from the different types of paper. It's not everything that I have. The reason that the paper changes color instead of just being black and white is that there are a lot of additives in the paper that are supposed to make the black and white process go a little better. But when the sunlight interacts with the paper, it darkens the silver naturally, and then whatever other additives are in the paper combine with that process to result in all these different colors. So here's my specific process. I first, in a dim room, I start to fold up the paper. So I'm using cotton gloves in order to avoid getting fingerprints and oils and stuff on the surface of the sensitive paper. And the artificial light has very little effect on the paper. Over time, over a much longer time it would, but in the 10 or so minutes it takes me to fold up this large piece of paper, it really doesn't have much effect. And the little bit of sunlight creeping in through isn't a big deal either. So I'm folding it all up, matching edges with edges, corners with corners, sort of following the limitations of the paper along with sort of my intuition about spreading out all the folds over the whole sheet of paper instead of kind of getting cornered in one area. You saw me clip the folded paper in between the two sheets of plexiglass. And then here I am opening up the curtains again. I have this sort of hacked together dim room with these blackout curtains that are enough to do the job. And then here I am putting out the paper in the sunlight in my backyard. I've got my little table there, and these will stay out there for probably just a day or two. It's still pretty cold out, and with big humidity fluctuations from day to day, I don't want the paper to get too wet from being cold and then warm over and over again. So you can see the different types of paper out here. They're all kind of turning this purple, blue, pink kind of range. The variety comes once I fix the paper. So here I am bringing that big folded lumengram inside, unfolding it. You can see, it's that purple, blue, gray kind of palette. This will change pretty dramatically, you'll see later. This part where I'm just unfolding it and rolling it up is pretty quick, so I'm not worried about the curtains being open for this. I'm going to show you how it looks when the paper gets put through the fixer. And I'm going to use a small one to do it because it'll be just easier and quicker to see it. So there it is. It's pretty glossy paper, so sorry about the shine. If these were developed in normal darkroom chemistry with a developer, and then the stop bath and fixer and hypofixer and water, that process would take the lumen print and turn it completely black. So what I'm doing here is I'm only going to fix it. So I'm not developing it at all. The only thing that's happening is that I'm going to make sure that the image is no longer sensitive to light. And you can see how quickly the fixer starts to bleach out the image there. So what's happening is the silver that didn't get fully exposed is getting rained out of the paper into the fixer. So eventually the fixer will have too much silver in it and needs to be disposed of carefully. And here's the big one again. I'm going to hang it up to dry. So this big lumen print is really wet and a little bit fragile. The emulsion is really squishy right now, so you don't want to touch it too much. I'm going to kind of give it some air, and here's the final print.